Local government. The local government under administration is in a different transformation. For the first time, local government in the state together in their various local government area put together have done projects of over 5 billion, meaningful and tangible projects. Under our watch, the development center that never had buildings are having buildings. Local government lodges are being built. But the good news, Christ was telling us, he said, dear little children, be therefore imitator of Christ as your Father in heaven. And so these people are looking at the concrete, massive road infrastructure we are building, and they have gotten consultants to begin to design concrete road for them. And so in the month of October, we are going to be flagging off a minimum of 1 kilometer of 8 inches thick concrete road in each of the 13 local government areas. And this makes me so happy. And I said to them, even if it is in your father's street, put it. It's a legacy that our people will never forget. And this we're very, very happy about. Solid mineral. I'm happy to announce that we are making tremendous efforts in the area of solid mineral. And I commend the Commissioner for Solid Mineral, and of course, Deputy Governor is manning this ministry, and the 3 S's. We are fortunate. But let me tell Nigerians that what we are earning from solid mineral is very, very poor. It's very poor. The land is being devastated. It can never come back. And so I call on the Minister of Solid Mineral at the federal level, who is doing tremendously very well, because there's been a lot of innovation in the area of solid mineral. And for this, I commend them very well, including my friend who is the governor-elect of Ekiti State, Dr. Fayemi. But we have to look at the earnings in solid mineral, and let us know the cost, the price of this solid mineral at the international market, and know whether we are earning the right thing. But for us in Ebonyi State, I'm happy to announce that, Ibeto is tremendously doing well in the manufacturing of equipment to reactivate Niger. And for this, we are very, very, very grateful to him. We've had meeting with financiers that are Americans, and his company is quoted in American Stock Exchange. And for this, it's a great plus for Ebonyi people. And also the Chinese that are manufacturing this equipment, they have also been Ebonyi State. I've invited Ebonyi State government to come and see the level of the equipment and manufacturing for Niger. We also announced, gladly that Lafarge is almost concluding their core drilling, and have promised us by the month of January they will start, their cement factory in Ebonyi State. And also, Bua, has tremendous high yield of limestone in the state. And we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and they've already started their core drilling. And they promised that in 2019, their cement factory will be on. And we also have a Chinese company, Tongji, that is also going to set up cement factory in Okoto, initially local government. So we're very excited about this giant efforts, and we're grateful to God Almighty. And of course, we met on board Royal Salt, which is the first lead zinc smelting plant in the whole of West Africa. And we are determined to increase it by 1. So Tongji is also setting up another lead and zinc smelting plant in Ebonyi State. And what is holding them is the rain. Otherwise, the memorandum of understanding has been signed, and it is something we're very happy about. We're also working with another Chinese company in how to use our salt, tremendous salt that we have in Ebonyi State, and produce chloroform, hypochlorite solution. That's the correct pronunciation, hypochlorite solution, which is safer than chlorine in water treatment. And so in the weeks ahead, we're going to be signing a memorandum of understanding with federal government, Ministry of Water Resources and FCT, so that when this plant is built in Ebonyi State, we use our salt solution, and through the mechanism of distillation, we'll be able to produce a hypochlorite solution for water treatment. It's harmless and it's safe, and it's very, very good. You know, no turbidity when you use it in water treatment. And for this, we're very happy. We have first gold in this state. We have the highest deposit of lead and zinc, but it's being criminally mined in Ebonyi state. And so we have said, look, we have to introduce the best practices in mining, because the method of mining now is very crude and rude, and it since led to our streams. And that's maybe the cases of increase in liver failures and kidney failures we are having in Ebonyi state. And so we are saying that we have to deploy the latest technology in mining of this solid mineral in our state. And for this we have made a law, and we're going to be asking the hand of federal government to ensure that this is done. In Border Peace Ministry, like I said, we have set the peace rolling, and for this I commend the Commissioner. Let me finally talk about our civil servants. Let it be known, and it's hereby known, that we do not owe our civil servants any money. The gratuity we owe in the state, yes, when we came on board, gratuity was just paid, as much as it could by Dr. Sam Egu's administration. But the last administration did not pay much of gratuity. So we inherited, bulk of gratuity, never paid since the creation of the state. And so what we have done through the Paris Club we got from, federal government was to pay 40% of Paris Club to, of the gratuity, of all local government retirees and that of state. And so today we are owing 60% of gratuity, and that's what I can say we are owing. Yes, there is also an issue of 2016 and 2017 UBEP promotion arrears for teachers. We are reconciling that, because I found it very difficult to understand why promotion increment in 1 year in local government alone should be about 334 million, which means that in 10 years, which is just my tenure plus, it will be 3-point-something billion, plus the original salary. So we are reconciling this, and I can assure the civil servants, the UBEP teachers, that as soon as this reconciliation is done, that whatever is owed to them will be paid to them immediately. And for small other demands they are making, there are things I've asked them to articulate and bring about. And so I want to assure our civil servants that we do not play politics with your welfare. The SIG that left me, the first thing he said is that he didn't like the way civil servants were being treated. But incidentally, the agreement we had with civil servants in 2017, 28 November, he was the one that signed the agreement with civil servants. He was the chief negotiator, and he was the one that negotiated and signed. And it was boldly written that as soon as we paid them their leave allowances in that December, that we were not owing them any other this thing. But I came in the name of the Lord. I didn't come as a politician, and I'm not a politician. I came to do the will of God. And so I want everybody not to play politics with civil servants. And people that are saying they want to rule Ebonyi State, sometimes I laugh. They say that they want to live the plight of the people. With the position you wear, what did you do for the people? Can you tell us what you did for them? There are some of them that cannot define what is GDP, and they are vying for governor of the state. Sometimes I look at their caliber and I begin to ask myself, is it this office that God gave to me, or is it a lesser one they want to occupy? But God will not take us back to Egypt, in Jesus' name. In industry, one of the key things that will take us to the vision of our founding fathers is industries. And so we have started on a very good note. We have set up 3 industrial zones, one in each of the senatorial zones. And we are also engaging Seredec and the UNIDO for them to give us feasibility studies of 300 SMEs in each of these, for each of these zones. And not only that, their responsibilities on consultancy is also for them to, be exposed to our people so that when we announce these are the industries we want to put in these industrial clusters, we are fencing, we are putting up some buildings in some of these locations, and then some industries have also started in some of them. And so we train our people, in such areas of SME as they will be exposed to us. And we also lead them to areas of finances. And we also lead them to areas of off-takers. And this is the way to go. And when we complete these 3 industrial zones, we will also deploy to the 13 local government areas. We are very determined. China is what China is today because everybody is working. And that is our vision for Ebonyi State, that everybody will be working. And by the time we are done with our tenures, Ebonyi State will be left totally in the hands of God.